What's happening, people? We're for another weekly roundup. No Lee Gunner tonight. No
Wonder why.
Henry's in Spain. Lee's obviously in Spain, but Lee ain't about either. But my boy Kaz is back, and there's only one person to bring on, other than those two guys, and it's my guy Goonie. What you saying, bro? It's been a while, man.
It's been a minute. I'm back, ready
I'm
to
glad.
go.
I'm glad, man. I'm glad, and I'm glad that you're back and you're all healthy now because that must have been scary stuff, man. But I'm glad you're all good, brother, and it's good to see you back on screen, man. How you feeling now?
I'm much better. I haven't even explained to my followers what's happened yet. I know them. I have to give that to them in the live. But I'm good for now. I'm just here sitting, chewing on my blueberries, eating a lot healthier. You get me, bruv? Yeah, but I'm all good. I'm happy to be back to talk football. I appreciate you inviting me on, bruv. It's always good to be here and have a convo with you. You know this. And then obviously my brother Cass as well. You get me? The greatest United troll going. Good to be on camera with you yet again.
I'm not a troll. When I come on here, I talk football with Dan and that, man. It just depends on my surroundings. This, you know what? Taken 9 days due to I had a funeral. I've been traveling.
Okay.
I've had my weekend away in Cheshire as well with my guys. Manchester. I barely had any time to do any streaming. And it's when you take a time out, it's so hard to get back into streaming. It sounds as easy as putting the camera in. Trust me, it's not. But now I've done my own show. Back on this show, I was thinking like, yeah, man, I can't even banter Henry, but I can banter Lee today. Can't.
Yeah, listen, we can always banter Henry because he's a Spurs fan. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we're gonna go into a few bits. We're gonna talk Liverpool, Arsenal. We're gonna talk top four. We're gonna talk the officials because they're making headlines yet again for the wrong and right reasons. And Goonie, we got to talk Lampard and what's going on at
Yes,
Chelsea. But
please.
before we do that, man, I've got a message for Goonie from Little Dan. Big up Little Dan. Everyone knows Little Dan from this channel, from Wolves Fancast. Little Dan's always part of my show, Premier League Fan Debate, and he's got some hilarious takes, man. I can't lie. I love Little Dan. But he said, Goonie, God's plan.
That's a little inside joke, man. Dan, yeah, because I wasn't active in the GC. He had to get me here. Fair play to you, bro.
Nah, is that what
Fair
it is?
play to you. Yeah, man. Fair play. Oh, yeah, I was quiet that day, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was just. We'll get onto that later. Bro, because obviously we're talking Chelsea later.
Yeah, man, we were going to talk Chelsea later. Do you know what we'll start with? We won't go Liverpool, Arsenal, right? We're going to talk about the officials very quickly because I don't really want to take too much time on this because I feel like otherwise we're just talking about this every week. It seems crazy at the moment. So I want to get your opinions, first of all. Cass, come to you, man. The Tottenham-Brighton game was a shambles. And I'm not just saying this because I'm an Arsenal fan, but Brighton were robbed, right? Completely and utterly robbed, in my opinion. I don't know if you've watched the game, saw the highlights, but Mitoma, blatant penalty. 2 goals they scored, both been ruled out for handball. I'm still trying to look at what it is that went wrong with them. And there were so many inconsistencies with cards and non-cards and fouls for Brighton, not fouls for Tottenham. And then on the other side of it, we see linesman elbowing players now. So in the game yesterday, he's obviously had a little bit of a dig at Andrew Robertson, which, to be fair, we don't know what Robertson said to him. We don't know if the linesman felt threatened. We saw Mitrovic against the ref the other week, so maybe that was in the back of their minds. But I can't lie to you, man. It looks a really bad way at the moment for the officials in England, and I've always had concerns. What's your thoughts, Kaz?
I think I've been quite consistent about referees, even against and for Man United this season, and it's kind of a joke. It's a bit. We can even say an Arsenal on the week yesterday as well. Like the same thing that Casemiro got sent off for, in my opinion, is the same thing Ben White did on one of their players. Rolled over the ball, bounced over the ball, studs up, hits the side of the leg. Wasn't a red card in my books, but according to some referees, that's a red card. Certain players get looked at differently. Cool, that's one thing. Tottenham, look, that was a robbery in different gravy. But it's also happened to Tottenham this season. That's what I'm saying. It's happened against and for pretty much every single team this season, whatever way you want to look about it. Apparently, Robertson actually grabbed the Lionel's arm. The Lionel's arm just tried to shrug him off, but he ended up elbowing him or something like that. Apparently, he's been suspended for now. But Robert probably deserves it. Don't put your hands on an official, mate. That's the way I look at it. Be suspended. Just make sure he doesn't ref games at Liverpool for a minute. Or be a lino for the games at a minute. It's rubbish. You shouldn't put your hands on no one. Do you want to like no one does that stuff. Don't care about the heat at the moment. Maybe people you're comfortable around, but I guarantee he doesn't know the lino like that. You don't know the person. Don't put your hands on them. Simple as that. And it's
Yeah.
just I just don't understand how this league generates so much money to get so much wrong. It's like, what's the difference of having VAR to the point where we didn't have VAR before? Still controversy, still obvious stuff going on and not getting called. To this point, it's like they're just improving match fixing. That's
Mate,
just
listen, I agree with a lot of what you said, man. Goonie, let me bring you in on this because now Kaz makes a good point. We don't know what Robertson has done, whether he's actually grabbed him, whether he screamed at him, whether he's looked to threaten what he said, whatever's happened, right? But I think the linesman has got some way of getting out of this in terms of a punishment. And I'll tell you why. I think he'll look at the Mitrovic situation of the ref not long ago. Bruno Fernandes putting his hands on the lino. Now Robertson's coming up to him. I think he's going to say, I didn't see him. I felt threatened. He come from behind me, he grabbed me. He told me he was going to do X, Y, Z to me. So I lashed out in self-defense. That's what I think he could say. Now, whether you think that's wrong or right, or if you think it's out of order, I think what he did to Robertson is a different story. But I don't know what should happen here, but I kind of feel like I can understand both sides. If Robertson's got an elbow to the face, that shouldn't be happening. But at the same time, if he's going on being the kind of confrontational towards him, then what does the lino do, man? What's your thoughts on this one, Goonie?
I mean, for me on a personal level, it's a bit of a non-story. It's just like if it was a regular thing between two guys outside of the sport, then it wouldn't have gone this far. It might not have been interpreted in such a way. But for me, the massive gray area is the intent, bro. Do you know what I mean? Because intent has a lot to do with reaction. Because what I mean by that is if he didn't see who it was behind him and he didn't know how far he was or the proximity of them two together, his swing out, it's an accident. He doesn't know how far he is behind him. So if he's caught him on the jaw, might be a bit of an accident. Robertson, obviously, in the heat of the moment, is taking it in however he's taking it. But I don't know, man. I think if that gets punished, it's ridiculous at this stage, bruv. And I think the lino really has got a lot more. He can get away with that, honestly. Because obviously with the officials as well, they get a bit more protection than what the players do as well, if we're being honest at times. And I reckon it's going to be the same situation here. I just think it's ridiculous that it's even being blown up to this extent anyway.
Listen, I hear that, and I stick with you a second, Goonie, on the actual decisions they got wrong, because you can stick up for them in that respect. But for these decisions, man, it was I can't even deep it. It was mad. Like I've never seen a game so bizarre in all my life. I've seen Tottenham fans jumping all over the place, particularly that cheat Harry Kane who does it every single game. And then you've got all of the nonsense that goes with it from Brighton. Mitoma scores a goal, rules it out because it's handball. Danny Welbeck ruled out because it hit McAllister, and apparently from his hip, it looks like it's hit his arm. Then you've got the foul in the box from Matoma. There's so much going on here they've got wrong, Goonie, in my opinion, man.
I don't know why they just don't add those. You know, there's 360 cameras these days. Why don't you just implement them? You know, they got the thing always moving around and
Yeah,
all this
yeah, yeah.
kind of stuff. Why don't they just implement them on the strings and stuff? So when he does go down and follows players, you got a 360 angle view of that stuff.
But Cass, there's still going to be inconsistencies because we've had blatant footage that we've been able to see and play back, and we've had ridiculous decisions anyway. That doesn't prove that they're going to get it right, to be fair.
But why don't they just use the system that before, at least for the offsides, use the one that's been implemented all around Europe? But why not England? I don't get it. You know the one that he says it's got lines across the pitch. It knows if you're offside. There's sensors or whatever, and it will see which part of your body is actually offside. But in terms of like handballs and stuff, obviously they can't implement that. That
They
has to
just
come
get
down
it
to a
so
human
wrong,
decision.
though. Like the VAR's there, but they still get it so wrong. Like
The question
mad
is,
for
has
me.
VAR improved football or not?
No, because the officiating is poor. The VAR system is not the issue. It's the people that are officiating it. And this
That's the
ain't like the
problem.
Spurs thing. This has happened in every single game. Like in our game, they forgot to draw the lines on the pitch. That could lose us the league. Do you know what I mean? That's 2 points now dropped. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't actually think we deserve to beat Brentford that day. But I look at that and think that could actually cost us. That could cost Brighton because they don't have the points. All you get is, sorry, yeah, we got it wrong. So I don't think that you can bring VAR in and say VAR is the joke. It's the people that are using it for me.
Absolutely. And while it's going to be like that, I personally believe the inconsistencies will always be there because human beings have shown, with or without it, there always going to be an element of human error. Because the inconsistencies, especially this season, have been ridiculous. It's just been absolutely ridiculous. So I don't know if it really makes much of a
It's
difference. To tell you the truth.
Casemiro's been it's already been unfairly sent off twice now. Yeah, he didn't grab the neck, he grabbed the collar, bro. Saw it. Yeah, just because he
Yeah,
had gloves on and that. The hat, the thingy, the roll over the ball, studs up for debate. Happened with Lavia done exactly the same thing against Brighton, I believe. I think it was Southampton versus Brighton. Didn't get nothing. And there was another one, even on the ankle, worse. I think Harry Kane got done up by Mark against Everton, Mark Gay, whatever his, I'm sorry, that's not his name. What's his name again? Gay, whatever his name is. Um Studs right discussed like force on the ankle. No yellow card, no red card, nothing like that. So for me, it's just stupid. They're ruining games now. They're
Hmm.
targeting players that are, that are tacklers and stuff like that. They are unfair red cards all around the gaff. And more, by the way. And more. So it's I don't know, man. I feel there's not a variety of enough refs. I don't think they're really testing these refs at all, like the Premier League. I think they
yeah,
need to add some diversity in the refereeing as well. Like, if we're being honest, I think there should be more female referees because players will react different to them and calm down the situation. Whole point of male officer, female officer makes sense. Not enough of those in men's football. It's like they just don't care. At the end, it's like, yeah, we'll just shrug it off. We'll get on with it next season. That's the way I look at it.
I agree with this. Like across the pond, sports talk. Big up yourself, man. Says I've always said, don't want VAR officials refing, but they are by deciding when and what to tell the ref to go and look at. Every penalty, every big decision, it should always just be the ref goes to the camera and looks. And I agree with that. And I think the referee should make that decision and go, right, just going to go and check that I've got that right. Nobody in your ears saying, oh, I think he might have clipped him here. What do you reckon about his big toe there? What have you seen there? What do you reckon about that part of the arm? None of that should be in his ears, man. It should be him looking at it and him making that final decision. And that's the way it should be. So you only have one man looking at that decision to make sure it be okay. That's the way I see it. Too many cooks, bro. And all these people are, in my opinion, incompetent. And some of them, they must be corrupt because I'm looking at the inconsistencies now against specific teams. And there ain't one or other. But for me, it looks so bad. And there's definitely it's understandable why some fans would feel hard done by if you support a particular team because it isn't just happening for one team or the other. That's not my point. There is definitely for me some massive inconsistencies that people will be scratching their head going, so why can Everton get away with that, but Southampton can't? It's just got become frustrating for me, this VAR thing, man. And I think the officials need to take a massive look at themselves big time. And I need to see something. I don't know what. I need to see something change because it's making the sport a little bit enjoyable for the match going now. In particular, when you stand there in a stadium in silence, not knowing what's happening, wondering what
Yeah,
the
it's
hell's going on.
the communication between referees and the actual people, even watching at home or in a stadium. They need to take a chip from a little slip out of the Australian book and or the even the way the rugby do it. I want to hear it. I want to see what they're saying. Why
but
Do
do
you
can't
you
they
know
know?
do
what?
that?
Did you
I'm
know what as
telling you that.
well? Sorry, lads. You know what as
Oh, go
well?
on.
I reckon if these lot are a lot, if the FA are a lot more harsh in the punishments for refs getting things wrong, I think we might see a bit more of more consistencies. Actually, they're going to think twice before making a decision because when the wrong thing happens, often you just hear the referee come out, "Oh, I'm sorry, my bad, my mistake." No one gets fined. Nothing really happens. Nothing really comes of it.
Agreed. Agreed. And the other thing that makes me laugh in football, we pretty much see a vantage point from every single kind of viewpoint of football from fans now doing stuff like this, from players when they come out, from managers in press conferences. Who are the only people we don't speak to in football? The officials. They know they can make a mistake and just go, tell them I got it wrong and said sorry. Right, on to the next game. They don't come out. If he made it right that all right, you're going to have to come out and justify why you've made that decision, they might at the time think, Christ, I better get this right because I've got to justify it later on in my interview. But no one speaks to these guys. They're completely silent. So for me, I think we should be bringing that in now. Now we've tried to do it sort of by getting Dermot Gallagher and Peter Walton involved with Sky Sports and BT, but it's a joke because they're just sticking up for their best mates, right? And I understand why they would do that in a way, because obviously they've got to go and then see them and get together with them, understand from their point of view. But if they actually had, right, every referee's got to come out when there's a big decision being made and explain why they've done that, I think you might see it a little bit different. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, boys.
I don't know, man. It's just the whole point of VR was for the clear and obvious, and it hasn't been for the clear and obvious. It's been for it takes 30, 60 seconds. If it's clear and obvious, it should be done in what 15, 20 seconds, right? Done.
Facts. Yeah, that's
15,
a good
20, not a
point.
minute, not wait, hold up, pause. I hate the time wasting as well. You know, add that to the system. They need to change that, which I think they are. They're going to actually have a match stop clock where you have to play 60 minutes. A lot of the games are averaging 52 minutes, 55 minutes, depending on what club plays what football. Newcastle averaging the most time wasted in the whole league, by the way. And it's just like,
yeah, we played 43 minutes against Newcastle at the Emirates. That's mad, isn't it?
horrible. That's horrible. You pay a good, depending on what club again, especially away fans as well, even more. You pay a good 50, 60 pounds for a ticket these days. Sometimes 40, sometimes 35 if you got a dead ass seat, but you're still at the match. Away fans spend £200, £300 more. And you're telling me you only watched 42 minutes of football? Whatever.
But Cass, you said something that's actually interesting when I think about it. How many different refs do we have refereeing Premier League games? Because to me, it feels like there's only a handful that do so.
I think it just comes. I don't know, man. I think foreign refs are better than English refs. There's a reason why we don't have as much respect. I really like the ones in Germany. If I'm being honest, that whole footballing. That's a footballing country, bro. Like that, they literally love and adore football system and business, but football comes first. The way the models are running every club, they're successful. Not so great. I don't know. They just got good things going on over there. With the English, I think we're more passionate, without a doubt. I love everything about it. There's a reason why we're on the top. You know, everyone wants to come to us, and that's something you can never take away from the Premier League. The name of Premier League just sounds diverse for everything. Within the refereeing, even managers, it's like, obviously I'm not going against my own race, but it feels like there's just white referees. And I'm not saying that, you know, like any other race are just incompetent, or referees don't bring race into it, incompetence. How about trying to introduce it? You know, a lot of these players are black. A lot of these players are Asian. A lot of these players are so-and-so. It's about representation. And I just feel like until there is, it's just different cultures or different backgrounds spew different personalities. You get what I'm saying? And it might be different for fans, viewers, and football players in general. And a lot of these guys are still, I feel like they're just still from back in the day. Like they still got this old mentality trying to keep up with the times. I like a couple referees. I hate Anthony Taylor, but I think overall he's decent enough. I think Michael Oliver's decent as well. I hate him as well. Don't mind him. But Paul Tierney, another one, I don't mind him. But then I can go Lee Mason, Mike Deans. They're getting rid of them. Bring in new caliber. Bring in new young. I would love to see some young referees in the game as well, you know. And again, when I mean young, I mean like 30-year-olds, 29-year-olds in that respect. Not all these 40, 50-year-olds because the players won't respect them. No, the law is the law, bro. You need to respect it. People modernize behaviors as well. I think that's probably the most important part.
It just
modernize
feels
personalities.
Like,
yeah.
It just feels like you're seeing the same faces every single time for the big games in the Premier League. And it's just like, look, like, does it not occur to you? Some of these referees have conflicts of interest. The other day, you seen what's his name, Michael Oliver. Did you see the picture?
Yeah, Newcastle fan.
Yeah, bro. What's wrong with bringing a referee from outside of the Premier League who doesn't have any kind of vested interest in any of the teams to officiate the games?
I agree with you, bro. And I can actually think, and I'm 35 years old, so I can go back to the last sort of 25, 30 years quite well. And I can't think of many referees that I looked at and gone, "Core, you're good." Maybe Colina was probably one of the only ones, a legendary one. I thought in terms of the Premier League, Jeff Winter weren't too bad.
Oh, back in 2003, back on Pez.
Yeah,
like Pro Evolution 2003. When a referee is the cover of a football game, you know
exactly.
there are levels.
Yeah. You know that guy's
levels.
got absolutely legendary. But other than him, and I mean, Jeff Winter weren't a bad referee in my opinion, Premier League wise. Other than that, I'm struggling, man. I'm really struggling. Even like Howard Webb and Clattenburg, all these people that I can't say any of those were any great.
I love that guy, man. Don't
ever. I know why you do.
Yeah, exactly. He must be your favorite.
Hey, Mark Clattenburg. I think Mark Clattenburg was the last real something for everyone. Like he got along with the players. I think he had the ego. I think a lot of referees have the ego, but these days it's like the ego goes up. It's like trying to reason with people. Like I just don't feel referees reason with emotions. That's why I want like a younger referee that understands people these days, not people that are 60 years old. We're talking about footballers that are 25, 20 years old. People that don't get it.
Mm.
People that are not born in that certain situation. That's what I'm saying. Scared from it all over the country, and they all seem to spew from the north of England. If I'm being honest,
Yeah,
never
that
down
is
south.
weird as well. I don't know any of them from London. I
Yeah,
don't know any of them
that's
from
true. Who's from
South.
London?
Like, how
Who
many of
is
them are
from
from London?
London?
Like, apparently,
None.
the one that's furthest south is the Midlands. Everyone else is north. Like, why? Where are all the people from like East
Because
Anglia
you know
and
what it is though,
London
Dan.
and
A lot.
South?
I feel like a lot of times these days, no one says I want to grow up and be a referee. Why don't they not just make it more appealing to want to be a referee and try and make it into something as a career rather than a hobby on the side and say, you know what, I might take an interest in this and then go up the ranks that way. Why don't they actually employ people to do it full-time job and then send them out as they do, not by like obviously you can have a choice. Like you can be a referee and you get sent to a game down in the lower leagues, Sunday leagues, and so forth and so forth. I don't know why they just don't make it like FA. You got more than enough money. Employ people full time to be referees. Send them down to this day, that day, do their studies and other days. It's as simple as that. You can't. It's more of a freelancer thing at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, man, it is. Listen, we're gonna move. We can't not go anywhere else other than yesterday's mental game. And got to ask you two as neutrals. Probably gone
Best
down
game of
as
the
one of
season.
the best game of the season, was it? Yeah, I've got to say, I thought it was absolutely mad. Obviously, I was caught in the emotions. I was doing a watch along with it on AFTV because I didn't get tickets, but wow, it was mad. Goonie, let me come to you first, bro, because I looked at the results at Anfield
Mhm.
yesterday, and they've beaten Newcastle, they've beaten Napoli, they've beaten Manchester City, and they smashed Man United 7-0, which
Wait,
I want to remind Kaz of. But we went there, and I thought we absolutely cruised it, mate, in the first 35. It was actually quite embarrassing as far as Liverpool concerned. It was so easy. And then there's a little incident that happens with Granit Xhaka and Trent Alexander-Arnold, which just lifts the crowd. Now, I didn't watch it on the sound on because I was on the watch along, but
Yeah, yeah.
apparently it was just dead. There was nothing at Anfield. They were like, wow, 2-0, we're dead out of it. But that incident then raises the crowd. 30 seconds later, Salah scores. Half time happens. They come out and they absolutely destroy us. I'm talking annihilation, peppering us. Now, we had chances, don't get me wrong. Gabriel was a header. Tierney should have done better. But Ramsdale absolutely keeps us in it with world-class saves. And then the last kick of the game, we could even go on the break and score, but Martinelli can't get the pass right.
Overhit.
It was a mad game, man. Talk to me about your thoughts, and more importantly, is that a point gained or is that 2 points dropped as far as Arsenal are concerned, mate?
Well, in terms of that game, there's several things that you've said that's key to this, and it's respectfully, I've seen many a time teams play their best 35 minutes, best 40 minutes of the season anywhere in England. But let alone Anfield, it's got to be your best 90 plus stoppage time minutes against them to make sure you're getting that result. You know just how difficult it is to get a result at Anfield. Now, the way you lot played at the beginning in fact, that first half, I was scared. I was like, there's no way. I did not expect this. I did not expect Liverpool to get opened up the way that they did. It was a mad thing. But quite rightly, like you said, Xhaka, one of your more experienced players, rises up to the occasion, which in effect rises up Anfield, and then you get that goal back. Now, going into that second half, I was thinking, do you know what? Look, at that point, I was like, it's 2-0, but it's still early enough for Liverpool to get into the game. They've scored just before half time. Not really the best time you want to be conceding goals. But if Arsenal address the second half very similar to how they addressed the first, then they should be all right, because Liverpool don't always start off well in the second half. They don't. They take a while to get into gear. But I felt that after they scored that goal, a bit of fear factor crept in, because I thought you were at 6 and 7s at times in your defense. Do you know what I mean? I thought it took a little bit of time for you lot to settle down a little bit, and Liverpool definitely could smell blood, and they're experts at doing so. But no, I think you had opportunities to put the game to bed, and at the times the opportunities came as well. You never know, could have deflated Liverpool, because it could have been a free 3-1 thing or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But At the same time, I couldn't help but notice that Liverpool were getting clear-cut chances as well, just not taking them. Mo Salah as well, missing a penalty second time in a row. Do you know what I mean? The situation with what's his name, Konate, the centre back, fucking brilliant game defensively, outside of the 2 goals, but he grew into the game. Brilliant defensively, but that there was just horrible. Like, why would you take that opportunity with your chest, that part of your body, man? Put your foot through it, my brother. Do you know what I mean? And then Mo Salah breaking into the box, Ramsdale saves. On the balance of things, I think if you're going for a title, it's 2 points dropped. You can't go over there. And I say this because the last time he won a title under Antonio Conte, I'll tell you right now, he was never going to send us to Anfield to settle for a draw. He would have always wanted them 3 points, and he would have been pissed if he never got it. This is, if you want to be winning titles, you've got to do what, the best teams do. Go and win when it matters. Do you know what I mean?
Especially when you're 2-0 up, Goonie, as well.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
That was what frustrated me. Me and Turkish, we said, 2 points dropped. Then I deeped it and I thought, I can't say Ramsdale's kept us in it and then say we've dropped 2 points. So what one is it? I don't know what you saw, Kaz.
He did. He definitely. Ramsdale was your best player, which says everything about you need to know about a game, really, if I'm being honest. It was definitely, you were lucky to even leave with a point. Because you can always say, but what about this chance where Martinelli could have put Saka in? But what about all the other chances they had as well? Like, their XG was, if you like stats, it was second highest recorded in Premier League this season, like 3.49. Something like that. Was more than Man United, because I suppose they were scoring literally 1 shot, 1 goal. But you're lucky to leave with a point, I'll be honest. And the reason due to that for me was down to Arteta. Arteta is the reason why you lost. Lost 2 points.
Yeah,
100%. Why are you putting... Kivya's had a handful of games. Why on earth are you sticking him in an intense atmosphere, in an intense game, like, in what's it called? Obviously yesterday, and not to make it worse, in the 80th minute. So you're defending for the next 15 minutes. There's a momentum shift, or was it 16? So that was a stupid, all in all, naivety from Arteta. You got it wrong. And it's okay to say that you got it wrong, because every manager gets something wrong once in a while. It's just that you could have managed that game a little bit better, and I thought you might have learned from Man United. Don't put 3 subs on early, and don't do it together. If you'd done it with a few minutes to go, 5 minutes to go, you're still in the game, I think you would have won. I think you would have won that game. Just manage it a little bit better. Then you take off your only controller, the only one that was really putting control into the game, not Thomas Partey or anything. It was Ødegaard. If you want to take anyone off, take off Xhaka, bro. It's not like Liverpool have got a massive team. They put Firmino on and all that. Like, they put on small players. Thiago, he ain't winning no headers.
Cass is speaking facts. Yeah, Cass, you're talking facts, bro. Look at the substitutions that were made, the 3 that were made by Liverpool, and look what Arteta responded with. The fact that they even made 3 substitutions before you made 1, that's alarming in itself.
That's the first red flag.
Well, but once you took off Ødegaard and then you brought on Carrillo, you just
did Jesus come off?
On the pressure.
Did Jesus come off?
I think he did, yeah.
Stupid. Oh my!
Ridiculous.
When I told you that is, if anyone should have came off in that front 3, it should have been Saka, not him. Jesus was another controller. If you're gonna take Ødegaard off, or keep Jesus on, at least take someone else off for Trossard for a bit more element of control. One of them, it was odd. And to be fair, my man match for that whole game wasn't Ramsdale. It was Jordan Henderson. Jordan Henderson was sick.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking, he ran it back. He went down the channels with Trent, and he ran the channel in that second half like no tomorrow. And even the first half, Jordan Henderson was good for me, anyways. It was Martinelli was just better, and he got the better of all of them. And to be fair, let's face it, the first goal was down to Van Dijk, literally that deflection, bro. Not because of Martinelli's hard ass work. He literally just gave it to him. Van Disney was pretty much the worst player on the pitch.
Shambles, blood.
Shambles.
Do you know what? Do you know who's got a run for that as well? Sorry, Dan, to cut you off. Zinchenko, bro. He had a shocker. Yeah.
Do you know what? I was gonna bring this up, and do you know how I was gonna do it? You're absolutely right with your subs, by the way. The Kivior one, everyone was like, "What?"
You could have even, you know what it is? You know what the maddest players? You could have even put Xhaka at left centre back at the very least, who's already engaging in the game, and putting a different Jorginho. Just because see Jorginho when his tight spaces and gaps, he's good at reading the game.
There was a lot of other subs other than Kivior, man. I didn't get that one. But actually, I don't think that cost us the points bringing him on, right?
Even Ben White, man. Jeez.
I think for me, but see, Ben White, he had a poor game. And I'll tell you why.
In a back three, even in the back 3, he would have been more suited than Kivior. Would you not trust him and put someone on the right wing back?
You're right. You're right. Kiwior, I don't know what that was all about. No one
It's not
does.
his
No one
fault.
can
It's not Kivior's
understand it.
fault, by the way.
No, of
It's not
course
his
it's
fault.
not. He's a kid, man. He's coming on with second appearance for Arsenal. Ben White got a yellow card, which I don't really understand why. The referee was shocking, by the way. Even the Liverpool fans were saying he was shocking.
Wait,
It
what?
didn't make any sense. It was like
He
inconsistency, man.
studs up on the guy. Wasn't a yellow
Shocking.
card. Damn, I thought it was a red.
Where's this?
Oh no, the one where he bounced over the ball. Remember, he went through the
Who?
tackle, bounced
No,
over
no,
the
I'm talking
ball, and
about Ben
studs
White,
up.
not Casemiro, man.
Nah, yeah. Should have. That should have been no card then, yeah.
No. The Ben White one. That was nothing wrong with that, man.
What the
Nothing
way
wrong with
where
that
his foot bounced
whatsoever.
over the ball and caught the guy's
Nah, that
side of
was
the leg.
nothing wrong with that.
Oh, okay,
That was a
okay.
quality tackle, man. Quality tackle for me. Nowhere is that a yellow card, man. No fucking way is that a yellow card. And if it is a yellow card, then Kenyatte goes straight through Chaka and it's fine. So the
Yeah, but that he got the
inconsistencies
ball
yet
first.
again
To be
are
fair,
shocking,
he got it
right?
clean. He didn't go over the ball and show studs. He got it clean.
Ben White got the ball. It's because of the scissor movement, apparently, is why he got a yellow card.
Yeah, it's
It's
always the follow,
ridiculous.
follow through. Yeah.
It's mad. So that's why Ben White, for me, we had a poor game because he's like, shit, I'm on a yellow card. That's me out of the game. I got to be cautious. So he had quite a quiet game as far as I'm concerned. Erdegaard and Saka, they were all over them too. That's why Martinelli had such a good game because he was the one that got space. The other two just didn't get any space for me. And I actually thought Erdegaard and Saka were fairly quiet. Jesus was a beast as always. Shouldn't have come off, but did. And then, like Goonies mentioned, Zinchenko, unbelievable in the first 40 minutes. And Trent was shocking. And then it's like they both just swapped shirts. For me, Trent was unreal. And Zinchenko was shocking.
I don't get.
And I
I
was
don't get the hate
crying
for
out for
Trent.
Tierney, man. I was crying out for Tierney. I'm like, bring him on now. Defensively, he's so much better. It's just what we need. They're killing us down that right-hand side. And he brings him on when we've already conceded. Zinchenko gets absolutely done. Absolutely done. And I love Zinchenko. I think what he's done this season has been amazing. But Guni, it was poor, man. It was poor.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. Was it the first or second goal where he got nutmegged? Second goal. Yeah, it was just.
Okay, you're not megged him again. It was
Trent.
Was it Trent? Yeah, Trent. Trent megged him. Yeah. No, was it the first goal? Was it? Wait, was it?
Nah, it was second
No,
one.
it was. I suppose the second one, and he crossed it in Firmino, innit?
Yeah.
You see, my issue with Zinchenko is the fact it's when he's off the ball. It's his positioning as well at times. With that, well, look, Zinchenko is a liability when we don't have possession. I was literally just about to say that at times he can be very sus in that area, and then when you're coming up against a team like Liverpool that can break so quickly, it's lethal. It's absolutely lethal, man. But I think you're right. That should have been identified earlier on in the game. Tierney definitely should have come on way earlier. And I reckon that would have been the difference of, that goal going in or that goal not happening. Do you know what I mean? So Arteta's got to look at himself there for not making a decision earlier.
Yeah, I agree. Klopp messed up by not putting Firmino on earlier. I don't know why he didn't even come on. Like, he came on so late.
Firmino,
he
like 11
loves
goals
playing
now
against Arsenal.
Arsenal.
Arsenal kickstarted this man's career at Liverpool.
Yeah,
and it's been absolute banner ever since.
Listen, it's mad you say that. I remember like Rooney, Drogba. These players used to always score against Arsenal. Used to hate it. Harry Kane is another one. Always scores against Arsenal. And when I didn't see Firmino, I thought, okay, I understand he's leaving and he's not been the number one. But for me, I would have played him straight away. Goal. So it's mad. It's absolutely mad. But I don't think, and I'll ask you both this, I don't think this is horrendous. Oh my God, Arsenal are threw it away. It's all done. I look at social media and it looks that way. Congratulations, Man City have won the league. Arsenal,
if Man City win every single game,
absolute bottle jobs.
If they do win every single game, they won the league.
If Arsenal win every single game, they've won the league. So
yeah, exactly.
It works both ways. It's in our hands. It's in Arsenal hands and it's in City's hands. The only way is
you can't play like the way Liverpool tried to approach the game is how slyly how City try to play the game. Wingers wide, all that kind of stuff. Tucking the fullback like Trent was, except they don't. Kyle Walker will probably play that game, which is what Robbo was kind of similar, but they got a better player at the Etihad. Just don't see Arsenal at this current City. You can't play like that. Not against City. Just gotta play. Sometimes you're conceive and be like, yeah, get at them or play counter attack. Sometimes you have to do that. You need to get all you need at City is one single point. One.
Yeah,
and that'll be enough. And that'll be enough. I think that'll be enough. That's what separated Liverpool and City last season. 1 point.
I always thought it was going to be tough, man, but I feel like now we've made it tough by by going 2-0 up and not allowing that. But at the same time, I always said that the Anfield result and the Etihad result would not mean anything for this league. I still think there's too much football to play. We could have beaten Liverpool at Anfield, gone and
I
beaten Man
disagree. I
City, and
disagree with
everyone
that
goes,
Frank Gunner
"Wow,
comment.
Arsenal have won it,"
I
and then
disagree.
we go lose to West Ham and Brighton, and it's done. That could happen. It's the Premier League. I
Yeah, but
think people
then
are concentrating
yeah,
on
but
Anfield
it's
and
all.
the Etihad too much.
But you, yeah, that's what I said. I think Daps even said that was. It's not. Don't even focus on that. You got other games because that said,
Yeah.
look, that said it even on the last thing he's been said on DR Media. You're not going to win at the Etihad anyways. But then he said, but we've also got to go Brentford away. We've also got to go Brighton away. We've also got to play
Mm.
Newcastle. I think they do anyways. I think
Who
he said that.
City? No, they don't.
No,
They
not
haven't
you.
got
You got,
Newcastle, but they got Brighton and Brentford
but they
away.
got a couple. They got a few hard fixtures.
Chelsea.
Yeah, you lot got Chelsea as well.
I
And
think
to be
they'll
fair,
beat
they
Lampard.
got Chelsea every single time comfortably this season.
Yeah.
It'll be up in Chelsea's favor if they go to the Emirates and decide, yeah, let's just make sure they don't win nothing.
So
But
do you think yesterday, Kaz, that the game yesterday has basically said City have won it now?
no. Every time Arsenal drop a point, they go on a mad run. That's the difference. There's no chance. You got West Ham next, right? Gonna
And
kill them.
Southampton. Yeah.
Tell you now, you're putting a nail in the coffin for David Moyes. 4-0 written all over. I don't care if it's at West Ham. They just got smoked by Newcastle. We play, pressing football. It could be game over before you even know it. City's got Leicester. They're going to kill them at 7-0 probably. They're garbage. Jesse Martian. Oh my God. Relegation is blooming for Leicester. But yeah, nice. It will go down to probably the game against at the Etihad. I think it does. But then there's a few more games after that. But it's,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
tough,
see Arsenal dropping more points. Like you played with Rob Holding. If you played Saliba yesterday, you'd have won.
Goonie, what you saying? City Arsenal, has that result made it City's now, or do you still think there's too much football to play? Where you at?
They pointed Dean Smith, even worse.
Yeah, I'm just hearing they're appointing
gonna
Dean
look-
Smith as
I'm
well.
gonna
What is
look-
going on
Smith.
there?
Dean
gonna-
Smith.
I'm gonna look right now at
All right.
Arsenal's remaining fixtures. West Ham away, Southampton at home, City away, Chelsea at home, Newcastle away, Brighton at home, Forest away, and Wolves at home. Now let me look at Man City's games. City have got Leicester at home next. They've got you guys at home after that. Fulham away, West Ham at home, Leeds at home, Everton away, Chelsea at home, and Brentford away. Honestly speaking, I think if you lot lose at the Etihad, I reckon them man are gonna win the title.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. That is fair. And it's mad because we could lose at the Etihad and then Man City and Arsenal win the rest of their games and we'll lose on goal difference.
I need you lot to win a league, by the way. I know Goonie don't want it, but I can't have them doing a three-peat in it. Like, as much as I hate Arsenal fans, like, when I say hate, I don't hate them. Like, the content creation of stuff, Kunle from One Touch TV, Guna Lee, the chest of the season is being mad. And that's what makes me want you to lose so badly. I would love to see Lee cry. His leaf has been turned around. All of a sudden, Lee, your leaf is being flipped upside down again, and I would love to see it. But I don't like. I want to see. I'm bored of seeing City win the league. I'm bored of it, man. Like,
listen, I
you
get
gotta
why.
do it.
I get why fans don't want Arsenal to win it because they love the sections of our fan base that are deluded. They love the fans to be crying. I get it. I understand it. But I have to win this, man. Like, if we don't win this, we're walking away from this season with nothing. And the team deserves more than that, in my opinion, the way we've been playing this season. But this City side are serious. They're not like, we ain't coming up against Millwall here. Do you know what I mean? This is a
Millwall might be
serious
up.
team.
They might be getting promoted next season.
Yeah, but they won't be in the title race, cuz.
There's only 5 Arsenal fans that I know that fall into the category of, if you lot don't win the league, I might feel a bit bad for. Definitely you, Lee Gunner, Jez, Kenny Ken, and Northside. You 5, I'ma feel it for you if you don't.
Man said North.
Yeah, the rest of
North,
them, nah. No, I can't do the rest of them. Troops included.
I can't lie. The look, I swear that get me. I see back again is gonna be so lit. I think I don't know if I'm on it this week, but I can't wait, man. If it's in a month's time and you just see like a 4-point gap between City and I, like, what are you saying? What are you saying? It's like, oh, it was just great. Me and Monts would, I swear, tear him a new one.
Listen, it's gonna be harsh. It's gonna be hard, and I don't even, if we were to lose this title, I don't even know how I want to lose it. Do you know, like, what I mean by that? Do I want to lose on goal difference? Do I want to lose it by like 5, 10 points? Do I want to lose like 1 point? Like, I don't think it matters because you lose it, but at the same time, what's respectful? I don't know. I still think we've had a good season if we come second, but we haven't had a successful season.
It would
So when
hurt though,
people
innit?
say, "Oh,
It would
mate, it
hurt.
would hurt massively," and if people say, "Has it been a failure?" On paper, yeah, it probably has because we've got nothing to show for it. But actually, we've had a good season from the prediction of everyone saying we'll come fifth or sixth again. So I think we've definitely improved massively. We've developed as a team and we've got a bright future. But I really need this team to go win this league, man. And I believe that there's going to be some banana skins. Newcastle, Brighton at home ain't easy. For me, I think they're a very good side. And obviously the one big one at the Etihad. But I just hope we can do it, man. I really do. Listen, we're going to move. Let's talk about Lampard. Gooney, I've just come off of Matisse's channel, bro. I can't even lie to you. We were talking about Lampard, me, Matisse, and Lawless on London Clubs Carnage. Big up Matisse, and he's just done. He's like, right, let's write this off next season already. What's going on? But I'm not so sure about this Todd Bowley character, man. I want to get your opinions. I spoke to you for a while. This guy sacked Tuchel.
Mm,
He's paid him off. This guy's hired Potter,
mm.
sacked him. He's paid him off, and he's gone back
Tell
to
him again,
Lampard.
man.
And I don't know what the hell this guy's on, man. I know he spent a lot of money, and maybe you'll spend your way to the top at one time, but I'm not so sure the future looks so bright. It might look a bit up in the air, but I want to get your thoughts, man.
Yeah, let's get your thoughts, Goody.
Well, my thoughts on Todd Bowley, Chelsea Football Club, and Frank Lampard.
No,
Well,
let's get his name. No, correction. Super Frank.
Listen, yeah, right now he's Frank Lampard while he's manager. He's not super as manager. He was super when he had the boots on, but he's not earned the super as a manager by no means. Let's have it right. Okay, the one mistake that was made here was Todd Bowley made these appointments. Well, the first appointment he should have made was to adjust the technical director and director of football positions. He didn't do that. Yeah, he sacked Thomas Tuchel, right? I understand the why. I just didn't understand the when. And then this is what baffled me even more. He made the decision and Egbali to hire Graham Potter. Who advised him to make this decision? There was no one at the club to do so. So please tell me who did it. Yeah. Then after they hired Graham Potter is when they hired the recruitment staff. So he already did that backwards. The recruitment staff tried to tell him, Christopher Vivel and them man, tried to tell him, you need to get rid of this guy. It's going to end horribly. But he decided to wait until Aston Villa to do so. Now we are absolutely in the ghetto. Yeah, absolutely in the bin. So look, he has got a lot to account for. And the thing is, there is no positive to take from this, except in the summer, please let Christopher Vivel, let Paul Winstanley and the recruitment team handle this. Yeah, you have contracted them to make recruitment decisions from a football perspective because you guys are just CEO billionaires that were able to afford to be custodians of the club. If we're being honest, that's as far as it goes. Yeah, you hired these guys, let them make the decisions. Whatever they advise you, don't question the decisions, don't override the decisions. Let's fast forward to the point now where we've hired Frank Lampard as manager. They have done this because they are cowards and they are spineless. And why I say this is because they know Lampard is nowhere near the standard we need at Chelsea. I understand it's an interim position. He's not going to do nothing for us short term. We all knew this. We know the ability of Frank Lampard. We know what the best of Frank Lampard is. And it's not good enough to do anything against Real Madrid or anyone going forward. Do you know what I mean? But they put him there simply for the fact they thought it was going to unite the fans and it was going to stop things getting ugly at the bridge and away. That's why they done that. They done it to try and bridge that gap to protect their own backs and to just try and smooth things out for the rest of the season. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing that. I mean, it's always good to try and move positive in any kind of light. But this one here, the way they've done it, it's blatant for all to see. It's blatant for all to see. In hindsight, you could say they're trying to make sure they make the correct decision by doing their due diligence on the possible candidates, the possible managerial candidates. But then it comes down to this, Dan and Cass, is who is going to make the final decision. Is it, yes, I understand the bosses, they need to sign off physically on things for somebody to become a manager or whatever it is, but are they going to take this recruitment team, who are some of the best minds in football, seriously? This is the grey area Chelsea fans are in, because some of these decisions look like they've been forced on by the ownership. We don't know whether the recruitment team have really had the impact that they're supposed to have in these decisions. This is my problem.
Mate,
I've got
it's mad. Go on, Kaz.
I
Go
was,
on. Go on.
I've got two issues with it. Actually, no, I've got counterbalance on this. The first one is it sounds like a better run Man United situation slightly, like in terms of you're waiting to the end of the season to appoint a manager, right? But really and truly, like you want to get all like okay, let's go through your candidates at the moment, yeah. Number one, Bait one, Enrique. Two, Nagelsmann. Three, Pochettino. Four, Spalletti. Now new candidates are coming through the door. Five, Jose Mourinho. Six, Antonio Conte, and I think there's another one that I may have
Ruben
missed out.
Amorim.
Ruben Amorim. So that's about 7 candidates I think I just named. I think Amorim would be fresh for Chelsea. Good project, and he can work with youngsters. Something that Chelsea are really got in their bank is sick youngsters. And then he can definitely deal with people that on now more than likely. He's won a league in Sporting after how long? Either way, it don't matter. Why? I think within the next few weeks, they need to appoint a manager. They need for the fans and for themselves so they can plan for the summer. The thing is, they're giving Fat Frank this job, and there's no information for the fans if there's going to be any new manager anytime soon. They want to do They want to do it properly, interview properly, see what's going on, terms, conditions, etc., yada yada yada. But then the part of me thinks like, surely the manager giving their demands. I think Enrique wants to start in the summer, this, that, and the other. But I just think that's crap. I think this is Chelsea Football Club. Maybe they want something. They might need something now. Results not going their way, and I'm not being. Never say never. Don't care how many good players you got. Relegation is blooming fast, and you got hard fixtures, and that's why I say never. But obviously, I don't think Chelsea will ever get relegated. Got too much quality on show. They can even get a few draws over the line. Why would you not play a manager now, right? And I get some have got seasons going on, some don't. But why not make that demand for the manager to get his system implemented currently right now, as much as he
You know
can,
why?
even in the Champions League, and then move on into summer. I think they got two options, and I don't know which one would be the right one for Chelsea. Currently, I don't really care for Chelsea either. I'm loving it. But I know one thing. Chelsea never stay down for too long.
Do you know why they won't do this, right? And I'll bring Goonie in after this. Todd's in a mess now. And I'll tell
That's
you
his
why.
own fault. It's his own fault.
Chelsea have always had win now managers. Always, right? They're always winning now because they're Chelsea. They don't want a project for 7 years. They want to get and win now. Their fan base aren't patient enough. They want to win all the time. They've had 15 trophies in the last 15 years, and they've probably had about 15 managers in that time. But they can't have a win now manager now because they ain't got the team to win now. So they're in a mess because they've built for the future. They need a project manager, which is why they got Potter. So if Mourinho, Ancelotti, Simeone come in, they have to give them money to buy win now players because they ain't got a win now team. So that's their first option. They get Simeone and Ancelotti end of the season, Mourinho or Conte, and say, right, forget that. That ain't going to work. Here you go. Go and get some players now. We give you X, Y, Z of money, and you better win me something now. And they will because their CVs say they will. Or Todd says, no, I'm going to stick with it. Lampard's my guy. I'm going to look at the young manager that I want. Amorim, Pochettino, Nagelsmann, Luis Enrique, all them, man. And then say, do what you can with this team. I'll give you 2 or 3 players in the summer. Goonie, which one do you see happening out of those two, A or B?
This is the problem, Dan, is you've made excellent points here, both on, some of the more quote unquote elite, more mature managers, and on the ones that are, blossoming and coming up and perhaps have done something at a young age. Now, this is the problem that we also have as a fan base now, is honestly speaking, I'm of the opinion of, with the candidates that are available and those that are potentially available, there's 3 candidates for me that I would take at Chelsea Football Club, right? The first one is the least realistic, but if we can come in and muscle some kind of deal, I think it would be great. And that's Carlo Ancelotti. If he's to leave Real Madrid at the end of the season, I think he would be a brilliant fit. Even if it's for an 18-month period until other managers like Hansi Flick, my personal favorite, becomes available, I'd be very much up for that. But I don't see that happening. The other 2 for me, is Julian Nagelsmann, and the other one is going to surprise a lot of people is Mauricio Pochettino. Now, the reason why I bring up those two coaches is because when you look at the profile of players that we've got, quite rightly, like you said, it's a very young core. These are two managers that have got the experience of working with young players and raising their level, especially in the case of Mauricio Pochettino. Will he be picked considering he's the ex-Spurs manager and there's that controversy? He also hasn't won anything. I don't think so. And this is where the fans come into it. With managers like Nagelsmann, Pochettino, Ruben Amorim, these guys have not won anything. Yeah, and that.
Ruben Amorim has won something.
But what did he win? He won the
After
the league. And...
one with Sporting and everything. He literally built that team from. I wouldn't say they were bad or anything. They weren't never bad.
Okay,
but he made them into.
But in terms of in comparison to CVs like your Ancelotti's, even your Mourinho,
there's not.
They haven't done it like that. And I don't think my fan base, because of what we've experienced with Abramovich over the past 2 decades, are willing to sit down and wait for a manager to become elite at Chelsea Football Club. A lot of our fan base want to see the ready-made article come into the team and make an impact straight away. But the problem is that they conflate issues. Is that although that's okay, you still need to find a manager that fits the profile of the current system that you have and the recruitment team that you have. That's how, once you've got that in harmony, that's where you can start positively moving forward. When you bring in managers like, for example, a Conte, for example, who has his rigid style of football, and you've got so many flair players like your Mudriks, your João Felixes, etc., you're going to have a problem including all of these players, and you're going to have a problem as well on top of that. Translating this now to them.
Amorim's definitely better than Pochettino for me. Like I'm not joking. Ever since he's been manager, like even from Braga, who had a handful of games, he won a.
He's 14 points of Benfica right now.
But I'll tell you why. Then, all right, cool. With Braga, he's won a Portuguese Super League Cup every single season since he's been managing. He's won a league finally with Sporting, as well as that. On top of that, he even won the Super Cup thing, which is quite huge in Portugal. After you won the league, You're working with young players. His team is definitely a selling club. They just lost 2 of their main centre mids, by the way, who held down the fort in Mateus Nunes.
Yeah.
And also the other guy, Pellegrini. And then we can see how good they are. They lost Bruno Fernandes and won the league. Like, this guy's finding solutions to everything. Yeah, Benfica, they're 40 wins. But go look at the table. Benfica are killing everyone, bro. They're killing everyone. And that happens. You think Benfica going to stop? Not going to be around for some time? Of course not.
Yeah, they're the biggest team in Portugal.
I think Sporting Lisbon could probably win. I think they have to come up against Man United as well, if we do win as well, in Europa League. Like, it was unfortunate they didn't get through their group. It's just that they've had to get Agate. No one heard of him. Fresh youngster, see where he can prove himself. Built him into something.
I think
there's a lot of their players that we want, that everyone would like. Loads of players. I can name you loads.
I think he's a good manager, Ruben Amorim. I really do. I mean, they knocked us out of Europa. And they're good. He's a good manager. But Goonie, I asked you what I asked Matisse, and Matisse kicked off a bit when I asked him this, but I stand by what I said. If you do get Pochettino, Ruben Amorim, one of those guys, how long are you willing to wait before you see silverware? And I'm being serious, because if you got an Ancelotti or a Conte, you're probably gonna get it pretty soon, because apart from if they go to Tottenham, they always win something, right? So if you do get Pochettino, who hasn't won anything in England, do you give him 3-4 years without any silverware and say, build your team, we believe in you? Or are the fans not going to be patient enough and go, we should have got Mourinho, Ancelotti or Simeone because we'd have a trophy by now? That's my kind of question.
I think there's variables that come with that answer. Like, for example, is if the recruitment team actually gets some of the targets that we're looking for over the line, that's going to be a big factor of it, because we have a gaping, like I keep saying, we've got a gaping hole in that midfield. If we don't address that for Pochettino, then I'm not expecting any different results. I'm not expecting any kind of fight for top 4, and it's just going to be a whole shambles all over again. That's my honest opinion. But for a manager like Poch, again, until I see this summer, I don't know. But if we've got a summer that we're expecting to get, or a successful summer, I want to see a lot better, and patience might be a lot more thin now. In terms of trophies, bro, it's not easy to answer that, bro, because again, there's other teams around Chelsea that we've got to respect. We've got to remember, it's not just us. There's other teams around that are significantly better.
Aston Villa's better than you.
No,
Brighton's better than you.
listen. If we're having serious conversation, now,
I am having a serious conversation. They are
for
better than
for
you.
the next season. Look, you've got Arsenal that have improved. You've got Man United that have significantly improved with their new manager. You've got obviously your Man Cities, your Liverpools. That's already Liverpool not so much, but the quality in the top half of the table is getting better. Newcastle now be involved in this mix, so we've desperately got to get things right, and we can't afford to get the next appointment wrong. But in terms of some kind of time period as when we're going to see silverware, it's way too early to say, my bro, because you got to look at, I can only look as with what we've got on the table. And right now we're sitting 11th. I can't see where we're going to get 3 points next. So it's a massive contrast, you know?
Yeah, man, it's mad. It really
Long way
is.
to continue.
Yeah, listen, I can't say I'm not liking it. I can't really deal with Chelsea and their fan base. Obviously, Gooney's an exception, bro. Listen, last few minutes, I want to just ask you 2 questions, both of you. Top 4. Is this Rashford injury going to affect Man United's top 4 chances? Personally, I don't see it. And
You're
if
not
it
one of
does,
them
then
bandwagons.
who's going in it?
Man United is
Well,
equals
man, I
Rashford.
think
Watch,
Man United will be fine for top 4, but some people are
watch.
saying it might not happen.
Watch when I tell you now, yeah, Man United. I'm not saying Rashford's a part, but Man United are basically about to play the better football, like going forward, because of ball retentive players and players that actually are, technically more sound. Sancho and Anthony back in form. Goals are definitely a thing where the goal's going to come from.
Martial back scoring, man.
Marcel's going to have to step up for them goals, I suppose, because Sancho and Anthony are not gifted goal scorers. Bruno Fernandes is going to have to probably stop playing his deeper stuff, leave that back for Eriksen and Casemiro back.
Yeah, Eriksen's
You're going to have
back,
to run in
isn't he?
behind. They're going to have to rely on them too. I think is people going to have to chip in and everything. I don't think he's going to. I don't think it shouldn't be a big miss for the few games that are coming up. Maybe Sevilla, of course, but because of pace, Spanish players don't like pace, do they? PNP, they absolutely can't stand it. It's like their weakness. But yeah, man. In terms of what Man United's fixture, who have we got then? Who have we actually got? Let me just quickly chat. I know we got Forest on the weekend. Should batter them. Beat them in the cup last time 3-0. Then we got actually we got a postponed game, didn't we? Because of we got Sevilla, Forest, Sevilla away. Then we're gonna have Brighton. So I think the biggest miss would probably be that Brighton game at Wembley, of course, 100%.
Yeah, it will be missed, man. But I don't think that United are gonna miss out on top 4. I can't get behind
We have
that.
enough to get top 4. I think it would definitely
100.
for me. I don't know about you, Goonies. Just originally I did say I think Brighton could get there, but after getting robbed against Tottenham, I think it might be too much. And I think Newcastle are just playing I've been critical of Newcastle's football, top of my own football. But I think Newcastle have that in the bag, man. They're killing teams, bro. Forest at home are a different kettle cast. Yeah, not for us, Wolves. We've spanked them. We've spanked them at their ground. Like, I'm not fussed about them. When a team is about to get their manager sacked, that's the best time to play against them. Put the nail in the coffin, man.
All right,
Goody, what you saying?
Newcastle have got Aston Villa away next. They've got Tottenham at home, Everton away, Southampton at home, Arsenal at home, Leeds away, Leicester at home, and Chelsea away.
Some tough games. But I fancy them to get top 4, I do. And I think United, I think the top 4 as it stands will be it. I don't see Spurs getting into it. Liverpool are not consistent enough away from home. It's shocking.
Spurs ain't going to beat Bournemouth this weekend.
Spurs have got look, but their fixtures is Bournemouth at home, Newcastle away, United at home, Liverpool away, Crystal Palace at home, Aston Villa away, Brentford.
And, their 3 games are going to kill Tottenham. They will kill Tottenham.
They're not going to get top 4, in my opinion. Their fixture list is a lot more complicated than Newcastle, and you guys don't have really a bad fixture list, do you? United.
No, our toughest game would be from now.
Brighton's
more tougher away. No, Brighton away is more tough than Spurs away. I do not give a fuss about Spurs playing them. I love
seeing them this season. They've been the team that have made me smile the most. Can't lie. Even more than Chelsea and Liverpool, I've smiled at Tottenham. It's been hilarious, man. Kaz, just quickly, right? Would you rather if Man United had a chance of getting top 4, or they miss out on top 4 but win the FA Cup and the Europa League, which one would you take?
Trophies.
Yeah,
because in Europa League, I'm getting instant Champions League football anyways. And after the season, I'm getting Champions League football. After this season, I'm getting Champions League football every season, anyways.
Some
Don't
people are
matter.
obsessed with fourth, aren't they? It's mad.
No,
It's
it's not
absolutely
that.
mad.
Because the new rule thing comes in for recognition of UEFA clubs and stuff like that, meaning an extra place goes in, whatever format they got going on. Man United are in there.
Yeah, man. Listen, it's fair one, man. It's fair one. Listen, we're going to leave it there. Boys, it's been an absolute pleasure having both of you on, as always. Goonie, how can people follow you, bruv?
Man Knows Football is where you can find me on the YouTube, similar on the socials as well, man. So make sure you give us a follow on there.
Nice one, brother. Thank you for coming on. Make sure you go and head over and do that, people. His subscription will be in the channel. Kaz, likewise, man. What you got going on?
Never a foul. Tomorrow will be live at 6 p.m. with some shameless talk, rival show. So it goes a bit nuts off on there all the time, depending who's on. Mons, Kunle or Lee, Sean or George, Daps and myself. Oh, and the odd Newcastle fan that wants to give chest. Sorry, Kendall. And Specs.
Fair play, man. Make sure you go over to Never a Foul. Great pod, and got some great people on it as well, people. So, and please smash a like on this one. I'm literally about 35 away from 8K. So come on, peeps, we can do that just with this show. Let's get that up to 8K as quickly as possible. Help the community. I'm going to be back later tonight at 9:30. Myself, Tom Canton, Sophie Nicolau, and Super Kevin Campbell is coming on tonight to talk all things Arsenal and what happened at the weekend and where we go from here. So make sure you join us then at 9:30. Smash a like on your way out, people. Make sure you follow both Kaz and Goonie, and we will see you next time. Up the Arsenal. Take care, peeps.
South.